joining us are Jill Colvin, White House reporter for the Associated Press, and CBN News chief political analyst David Brody. Jill, starting with you, the subject that we hit at the beginning of the show were these new asylum rules. Dueling rulings came out yesterday. The one that went out was from a federal judge in California, essentially blocking the Trump administration's new rules. Your take on all of this?
Well, this was a pretty widely expected decision. I mean, this step that the administration was trying to take is something that was really, could be argued to be its most aggressive step yet to try to tackle the situation at the border here. I mean, it would effectively bar from claiming asylum at the U.S. border anybody who traveled, through Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, through Mexico into the U.S., which is the large majority of people who are right now right there. And even Mark Morgan, who is now the acting border patrol director, even anticipated that this would be blocked by the courts. And we really saw the administration not really taking any steps to implement it. There was confusion along the border, but also we really didn't see them sort of preparing agents, kind of ramping up. It really felt from the very beginning like they assumed, just as courts have blocked most of the measures they've tried to put in place, that this would be blocked.
David, we heard Ken Cuccinelli refer to the southern border as a, quote, toll booth used by the most evil, vicious, awful people in the Western Hemisphere. If that's the case, then why are we seeing evangelicals speaking out against this new rule?
Well, there are some groups, like World Vision, I know, has said, you just can't do this. And I believe that overall evangelicals are a gentle whisper in this president's ear on this. I mean, they did it with DACA. There was Sammy Rodriguez and the NHCLC. There was Paula White, some others. But ultimately, this president's going to do what this president's going to do. Now, having said that, clearly evangelicals are concerned from not just a compassionate standpoint, but also from a persecuted refugee standpoint. I mean, from a religiously persecuted refugee standpoint, saying, how could you be for religious freedom and then cut off some potential refugees, whether they be coming from the southern border or elsewhere, that are religiously persecuted all over the world?
We are one day removed from the epic hearings on Capitol Hill. Democrats took to the steps of the Capitol to tout their record 200 days back in control of the House. Interestingly, there was no mention of Mueller. There was no mention of impeachment. So where do things stand now, maybe to the both of you, as it comes to the steady drumbeat of impeachment with the House?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you saw there was really a reflection of this continued divide in the Democratic Party. You had Nancy Pelosi standing up there outside the Capitol in the sunshine saying, what we want to do as we head into August recess is we want to focus on the bread and butter issues that we believe are going to get Democrats reelected in 2020. Things that we hear from voters when we're out in our states, like health care, those kinds of things that people care about, with the recognition that, if you're an average person who didn't read the Mueller report, that's not really something that they're concerned with. And of course, there are many members of Pelosi's party, many Democrats, especially progressives, who feel like that is just not the right approach, who are feeling a lot of pressure in their own districts to push for impeachment, to really hammer on these issues. And at this point, Pelosi, I think we saw an interesting moment where Pelosi told her caucus members today, look, if you guys really feel like you need to talk about impeachment to help yourselves get reelected, then by all means do it. But she still does not believe that that's the right way to go.
And let's be clear, there's a timetable here. I mean, 46 days of a break over the summer, and you come back in September. Good luck with that, because, when the clock hits whatever it is, December X, that's it. It's over. I mean, in other words, you can't go into impeachment in the 2020 election. So, I think there's that. Plus, I believe that this hearing, when it did not go well for Democrats, and who was the most happiest person in Washington was Nancy Pelosi. I can guarantee you that. There are 31 House districts that are controlled by Democrats, but that were won by Trump in 2016. 20 of those, if they flip, Republicans will win back the House. That's the bread and butter, and that's the way Pelosi sees it.
Well, quickly, 30 seconds each. The president had a lot to say about this. He took a victory lap. David, your thoughts on the president's reaction?
Well, it's a victory lap, but it's all asterisks and air quotes, because, look, it's funny with the president. He always says he's totally exonerated, and I think that's code for, at least in Trump-based world, like, okay, we know you're embellishing. We know Mueller didn't really totally exonerate you, but the truth of the matter is he closed up shop, walked away, and there were no charges. That's the total exoneration that Trump is talking about, and what, more importantly, the base believes. And I think that is much different than the by the book. Was he totally exonerated? No. But that doesn't really matter in Trump world.
You know, I was out there yesterday. He was clearly very excited, wanted to talk to us for a very long time, but he's also got this balancing act. Look, he wants to be able for this cloud to be lifted and this to be over, but he also loves to be able to run against it, to kind of play that victim card and get everyone behind him. So I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more about it from him.
Jill and David, thank you for being with us tonight.